Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. All right, we're we're off and running. 5 minutes late, but we're here and we're going. Let's see, where are my sound effects? Yeah.
How dare you?
Oh yeah, we haven't heard from Greta in a long time, and of course we must hear from our past president.
Oh, yes.
Where is he at? Oh no, that's not the right one. Where did it go? Oh, let me play this one.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
How dare you?
Oh yes, how dare you lie, Bill Clinton? You
Words
did.
of wisdom from one of our previous presidents of the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen.
And tonight's show is going to be is called "Things That Make You Say, Hmm." Yes.
Oh my God.
All right. All right.
You're on Innervision FM, and that is who we love and who we serve.
My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown saying, stay with it and hit it. Well, okay, thank you.
All right. All
Now,
right.
there are some words of wisdom I can live by. Stay with it and hit it, ladies and gentlemen. Do not ever stop. Do not ever yield. Do not ever give up, give in, bend, break, surrender, unless that surrender be made only to God.
Yes. Well, how's everybody tonight? Yeah, like I said, I took a little nap. I got me this. You remember like back in the day, it was something called Cracker Jacks.
I remember Cracker Jacks. In fact, if I had some of those prizes that they used to give away in those boxes, some of those prizes were going for thousands of dollars on eBay a couple of years ago. I'd be interested to see some of those things.
Yes. Well, I went and we went to today and it was downtown, and I got a big box of something like it doesn't have the sailor in the front and the colorful picture, and it doesn't have any prizes. But man, I don't know. I think I didn't eat half of it, but I was going at it. It's like too much sugar, so I have a sugar overload, and so it's like but it was good. So I had to put them aside. I'm trying to build up to get ready for this. Well, I don't know if I'm going to go 21 days. Chris James of a Healthy Alternative, he said, okay, tomorrow night we want to have a meeting. We're going to talk about getting prepped, and then they're gonna go for it. But if I did that, then I have to pay for his class, and I've already given him enough money. Not to say he's not worth it, but he hasn't donated to my cause yet. So, and speaking of donating, you can donate to the cause that keeps the light on and all this other stuff turned on by going to paypal.me/Innervision Denver or Cash App Innervision or $ Innervision capital J or Johnny with the IE dash Johnson dash 25, and you can donate for the cause. So
Right,
yesterday's
and that's
show,
through Venmo.
oh, that's through Venmo. Yes, yesterday was a pretty interesting show. I don't know if you saw the count yesterday.
I did. I sent you a text on that. We want to thank you, listeners and subscribers. We are 30 above where we were yesterday. We're sitting at almost 400. We're at 385 or 395, something like that. So we want to thank you. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Hit that notifications bell when you do subscribe. Make sure to comment as well, because the algorithms, they're all important nowadays. Basically, when you leave a comment, it really helps YouTube say, hey, let's recommend this video to this person over here.
Yeah, and we appreciate those likes. And we're getting closer. We're about well, less than 500 and something away from getting 1,000 subscriptions, and then we can monetize this bad boy and go from there. And it's not on my list, but I had to bring this up. So the White House invited. Well, we're going to jump into the White House. The White House invited these influencers on TikTok.
Oh, the teenagers, to
Right.
explain why things are the way that they are, and to allow for Kamala Harris to kind of get out of the hot water that she's in when she went into Europe and into the Ukraine to try to speak to the president up there. And
So
man, it has everything to do with inflation, everything to do with the gas prices, and they can't explain it, so they bring a bunch of kids in to go
Yeah.
ahead and do the explanations.
or give the propaganda, the lie that Biden is so good at doing after being in Congress since '72. And remember, and I got to call my granddaughter because she's 13. I want to make sure that she's not believing the lie that the propaganda that the White House has put out about gas prices being so high because of Putin. Now, Putin may have done a lot of things, but causing America's gas prices to go up is not one of them. The only one that is in charge of that what do you got, debacle is the man with the white hair who's installed in the White House now, Joe Biden and Pamela Harris and the whole Democratic team, whoever is pulling his strings, because if he hadn't stopped the Keystone pipeline, we would have had a lot of extra. Or if he hadn't have canceled all the and reversed all the regulations that President Trump had took off the oil companies, if he hadn't put those back on, we would have independent gas flow from United States now. So
Living where I live, there are some oil wells where I live, and they are charged with pumping oil and putting it into the supply lines. This kind of thing. It's interesting because the other day I was talking to some friends of mine, and they were talking about the 9,000 permits that were applied for and that people were using to try to drill on these federal lands. It ends up that, just because there's a permit doesn't mean necessarily that there's oil, obviously. But there are some figures that show that we've got lots of oil under our own United States of America, good, clean, sweet oil, sweet barrels of oil that could power the entire planet for, gosh, somebody was saying like 1,000 years or something crazy. I don't even know. It's just a lot of oil. It just doesn't make any sense to me, other than with the environmental folks, the people that want to go green. But I don't know that people understand that there are a lot of other things that come out of fossil fuels. We've got our, well, I've got plastic eyeballs. Those are a petroleum product, and those are made from fossil fuels. The iPhones that we are using, many of the materials that go into those iPhones and their construction, direct result of fossil fuels. The electric vehicles that are being pushed these days so assiduously, fossil fuels, yet again, because you still have to. Think of it this way: the battery for the electric vehicle is just it's a power storage device. It doesn't generate power. Where does the power come from? Well, I will tell you, the power comes from the power grid. How does the power grid get the power? Well, fossil fuels are a big contributor to that, because windmills and or solar energy just does not do it. We just don't have the infrastructure in place to allow for this to happen. So we're being sold a bill of goods, which is just that. It's a bill of goods, but there are no goods in the bill.
Yeah, and parents, your kids are being used as propaganda tools, and so they try to send the DOJ to call you parents terrorists. Now they say, well,
Absolutely.
let's go around them and let's use a communist website called TikTok, and let's go through it that way, and let's get these 12 to 29-year-old young people to, since we can't we can't hide it in the schools. Let's get these influencers to come in and tell the children what we want to brainwash them with. So it's the government, this government, Democrats and Rhino Republicans that are trying to manipulate our children, grandchildren, to their lies, and we're not going to let it happen. So,
We're going to do our very best. And the best way to do that is to get involved not only with your children as much as possible, but get involved at the local, at the state, and at the federal levels. Don't be intimidated by the fact that when you go to a school board meeting, as long as you're peaceable and as long as you're, outspoken in such a way. The bottom line is this: nobody should be labeled as a terrorist, and that is what our federal government has done. And but we still need to stand up to this. We still have no choice. It is our responsibility to protect and safeguard our rights.
yeah, and now this other topic, this went across my board, and I had the names of the guy who did it. I think his name was Jack Reed, Democratic Congressman Jack Reed. But it came across my thing. Remember when the Democrats were saying defund the police and all that kind
I
of
do.
stuff? So I think it happened July 31st of last year, and this it's reissued. They went in and they voted a 17% pay raise, which hasn't been done in the last 20 years, for the police, Washington police that protect the White House. Then they authorized a 21% pay raise for members of Congress.
That's right, folks.
Wow.
So basically, folks, what you're looking at is a organization called the Capitol Police. They are charged with the protection and the safety of Washington, D.C. Interestingly enough, Washington, D.C. is not part of the United States, although we might think it is. It's actually the District of Columbia.
Yeah.
So it's a little piece of history that's kind of interesting. So when you talk about the Capitol Police getting a 17% raise, and you talk about the congressmen and women and folks in government getting
staff members,
right, and getting a 21%. Did you say 21% raise?
21%. Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you happen to remember what our cost of living
It
went
was
up to?
six. It was for us blind and disabled people. It was 6%.
Hey, we made 1/3 of a bump in our cost of living, giving us an effective raise. So we're almost right there with the Capitol Police, folks. And tell me this: you're not disabled. Some of you folks that are listening, you're not disabled. Did you get a 6% raise? Did you get a 17% raise? How about a 21% raise? And what do you think about
benefits? With benefits, with lifelong benefits. Well, and then they said this Democratic Congressman. It says it's to preserve democracy, right? And that's like once again, it's like two wolves and the lamb deciding what's going to be for lunch. So
That's absolutely right, and the lamb always loses.
yeah. So and it was also to improve the morale of the staff members. Well, if they weren't happy, they could move on to private service jobs if their morale was so much lowered by whatever they were getting paid, and I mean, give me $175,000 a year, and I don't, I think I would. I don't know. Okay, whatever. It's all these things about what they said. The reasoning was, it won't float in water.
It's
So,
absolutely right. There's no way it'll float in water.
so, yeah, this stuff probably went underneath the ramp because if this hadn't been brought out to me, and I will watch Wayne Dupree because he's giving some real powerful truth, and also Julie and Chuck, Chuck, Chuck and Julie show as well. They're local here in Denver, Colorado, and they're just really they have some of the most interesting guests and on the show. Oh, and Janet Griswold, a Democratic of Colorado, Colorado Secretary of State, she's trying to get a bill passed where it would make it illegal for the election judges and people that are involved with that to make a image of the computer software or to keep the integrity of it for the next 24 months. She wants to make it illegal, giving them jail time if they even question the validity of those machines. So she's going to put this bill through. So we're gonna flood the local I guess what is it called meeting that they're going to have to get this passed, and hopefully it won't get passed. I mean, it's just a lot of things are going on. A lot of shenanigans are going on here in Denver. Denver's like the testing ground, and then it goes out to the other blue states, and even tries to get into some of the red states. Um, so just keep up on Wayne Dupree. I got the hashtag there. I don't have a Chuck and Julie show hashtag, but I'm gonna put that in some of my other shows too. That was something off the track, Alan. So
Okay.
top. Oh, um, should we go to the Bush used to say like in his speeches, "One world order." I don't know if you ever see.
Yeah.
It was one
New
speech.
world order.
He was
And it's
he was dancing around one time saying "One world order," and I'm thinking like, oh, has he been drinking a little bit? When I saw that, and so are we now getting closer and closer to a one world order?
the shorter answer is yes. We've got the United Nations. We've got NATO. We've got 100 and some odd countries. Um, I lost it. 188 countries or so that are basically standing. Their leaders are standing on the side of the Rothschilds, you might say. The heavy hitters, those that have the money. They're standing with the folks with the International Monetary Fund, all kinds of fun stuff. There's really not enough time to go into it tonight, but one thing that is going on is a lot of countries, though, like India, like China, are going away from the digitally backed fiat monetary system and going to a gold-backed digital currency. I've got to do a lot of research on that, but there's something to do with SWIFT, which is the current banking system that is used by the world. But yes, the short answer to this is we're close to the New World Order, closer than we've ever been.
And I didn't put this in our topic list today, but did you see that? Is it Iran or China and Russia? Think about like taking the price of gas and petroleum off of the dollar system and putting it on another system, like another money system, and
Yeah, if
and,
that
and blocking America out.
yeah, if that ends up happening, our dollar is going to become worthless.
Mm,
If the petrol dollar is dropped, which is basically uh, it's a monetary number given, which is similar to it's tied to our currency and it's tied to
mm,
many countries that use OPEC.
mm,
And if we lose that petrodollar and everybody starts going to gold backed currencies, this kind of thing, as it should be, why, oh, yeah, our
yeah.
dollar is going to tank.
Yeah, and now remember, President Nixon, a Republican, unfortunately, he took the dollar off the gold. He separated the gold from the dollar, so then that just made it possible for these guys to print money like drunken sailors. And I'm talking about not only Democrats, but I'm talking about these rhino Republicans too, because they keep passing these omnibus bills, and it just keeps throwing money out into the market, and it's not attached to anything of value. It's just paper, digital or physical paper being thrown out there, being printed again and again. And of course, we have the mint right here in Colorado
Yeah, right in
that,
Denver.
that prints all that money, which is only robbed. I think it was only people tried to rob it twice in the history of our United States. So, ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen, they are like spending money that's not even real money, like drunken sailors, and like Saki lied to you and said only the Republicans. Whenever you hear a Democrat accuse Republicans of something, it's something really that they are doing, and they're just putting it on somebody else. If you hear Russia collusion, you can believe it's the Democrats that are colluding. And we found out that was a big lie paid for by Hillary Clinton to build up this Russian gate, Russia. And if you hear, if you disagree with us, you're a communist, it's really the Democrats are communistic socialists. So it's just when one finger is pointing at you, three fingers are pointing back at the Democrats. Put it that way.
Yeah, there's an interesting quote that I saw today, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's something like the truth does not need any defense.
Mm,
It welcomes observation, it welcomes scrutiny, it welcomes study. It says, come on in, take a look.
yeah.
Whereas a lie, oh no, it cannot stand that light of truth
Yep.
being shined on the on whatever it is. It can't
Yeah.
stand it, so it will twist and turn and flail all around and blame other people, and it will point their fingers and whatever, anything to keep that light of truth from shining. And truth also is one of the first casualties in war. And folks, we do happen to be in a war, and it's a war. And I'm going to probably put myself into a little hot water, but it's a war, and it's for our minds, it's for our souls, it's
Mm,
for our spirits. And there is an adversary. We're not fighting against flesh and blood. We're fighting against principalities and powers, and
mm,
they want what we have been given by God. And
mm.
since they cannot have it, they would have it destroyed.
Yes. And speaking of light, daylight saving time, and
That's another one. This is really cool. Go ahead.
so since it's always been this debate. It started back in, I think, in 1942. They were kind of save energy because of the war back then, um, and so they started daylight saving time. And so now it's coming up in Congress again that we should either pick one or other, or, and I hope they don't do this, let the states decide what time do they want to stay with. So that means, it could be a willy nilly. This state over here said we decide this one decides that. Instead of just making a standard, either we're going to keep what we have now, where the sun goes down later, which I like that, or we're going to go where you leave in the dark and you come back in dark in dark, right? So, and then they're trying to blame sometimes they say, well, the daylight saving times, it affects the heart. Gives people are like more likely to have heart attacks and heart problems. But they're trying because so many like military guys. There was 80 military guys that they died on the military base. Now these are the strongest, youngest guys ever, and a lot of people under the age of 40 that are totally healthy after they took the jab are dying at alarming heights. So they need something to blame it on.
Oh,
So
so now you're trying to blame the high death rate of military age folks under 40 on daylight savings time?
or that's going to be what they're going to try to do. Say that it's stressful to heart, and see over here, the daylight saving time is known to cause this, and that's why so many people are just mysteriously dying of heart problems. But we can't blame the jab, the experimental jab. Is the daylight saving time. So some people said they're going to try to use that, and some people have you heard people? It's been algorithms. People saying, "Where's that infamous doctor with that name begins with a F? Where is he at? I
Oh,
don't
that
care where he's at. Bury that guy."
wow, yeah. I guess he came out of hiding today. I only saw a piece of an article and I was going to get to it and I never got back to it. But I guess he's back on the move and he's trying to
Back with some more
pick
propaganda.
stuff up. There's going to be a fourth booster coming out, folks. So if you got your vacation package card, why go ahead and bring it on out for your frequent flyer miles and your booster, and get that rocking and rolling. We're here for freedom of choice. So if you feel like you're safe getting that booster, why go ahead and get it. I've got to stay away from it myself, but that's just where I'm at.
Right. And oh, and we want to remind you that Christian Brothers is our sponsor for the year, and they're located in Denver, and I think in Texas, and in Phoenix, Arizona as well. But Christian Brothers Moving Company, located in Englewood, Colorado. Very good company, and so if you get a chance to use them, and also don't forget that if you have a old boat, RV, car, that you want to donate, you can also do that. And you can go on our website, innervisionrecords.org, innervisionrecords.org, and find out more about how you can donate your boat, RV, and car. Now, speaking of donate, ticket prices for concerts.
Yeah, because we support grassroots musicians, whether they be disabled or financially challenged. Why, this is near and dear to our hearts.
Yes, and these, it looks like, I guess what happens. Okay, you hear about like, and I wonder if the mafia is involved with with this kind of stuff, because it seems like, okay, tickets when the stars get big and everybody knows about them, they put the tickets on sale and then they sell out within hours or within days.
Hmm.
Then as the months go on, then they say, oh, we got those people that bought the tickets, they decided they didn't want them, but now we can resell them.
For 3 times the price.
Yes. So if a ticket costs $40, then they tack on a $9 service fee and stuff like that, and then they can tack on another $30 or so to that ticket, to the resellers that sell the tickets back to the general population flow, and it happens a lot. I always wonder how these tickets get so. And I'm thinking like tickets with like Prince, $250.
Yeah.
They really pumped that one up.
Yeah.
Even and so this guy. It was in Westward magazine in Denver. This guy named DJ Summers wrote the article, and you can read more of the details of this. But ladies and gentlemen, this is why your concert tickets are so high. You try to get to the tickets before, at one price, and all these what do they call when they go out and they these people a bunch of guys they go out and they try to sell you tickets for more, and they're right there at the scalpers.
Yeah, those are called scalpers, and they've gotten rid of them when they went to the digital aspect of things, for the most part. Nah, they still exist because what they'll do is they'll buy large sections of seating. So they'll go in with an investment capital, buy 10 or 15 seats, and then they'll go ahead and resell those, whether they be digital or not. And it's a pretty slick gig. It's not right. It's not legal and that kind of thing. And it really does take away from the recording artists, the musicians. Of course, it also hurts the pocket of the ticket seller. But that's one of the reasons why your tickets are 2 to 2.5 times, because you can get scalpers where they'll get 3 times as much or 4 times as much, and they don't care.
Yeah. And we want, hey, leave your comments down there. Like I said, we'll answer those comments within 24 hours. Okay.
We're flying guys a little bit short on some staff. But I mean, it takes us a little bit to go ahead and jump off the show, review the comments, and we get to them quick as we can, though, within 24 hours.
Right. And remember, okay, Dreamland is going to be in concert. Dreamland Music, MUZIK, will be in concert. And you can go to afton.com/Dreamland Music. Now, their tickets, they were $12, and this is not because of resale. Now they're going to do, that was on a Thursday night. Now the show is going to be on a Friday night, and it's $1. Can you believe it? Just $1 higher to $13. So,
that's pretty cool. So when's that concert? Is that April 29th?
That's April 29th on a Friday. And I'm going to also move the release date of their album BIC. I'm going to move it up to that date, so that album will be released on that date. So I'm going to let the guys know that it was going to be released on May the 5th, but I'm going to move it up to April the 29th. It's already ready for pre-order, so you can now put that in. Go to Spotify and just look up Dreamland, then Music, MUZIK, and then you can also do a pre-sale. We're trying to get about 250 people to pre-sell it, so we can get them into the top 200 Billboard, where radio stations, colleges, they pick out songs to play on the radio stations. So we want to get them in the top 10. Now, in order to do that, we're gonna have to really push it, like maybe a couple of thousand people. But just to get them into that top 200, it's not that hard with 250. But let's go for it. Let's go for broke. Let's go for 2,050 people.
Hey, well, one thing in Dreamland Music, these guys are really talented. You'll dig these guys. You should really put them in your Spotify playlists. You can find their stuff.
On all the platforms, iTunes, Amazon. And get it, if you're gonna buy like a single or whatever or stream, we rather you get it on iTunes or on Amazon, because that counts towards the pre-sales, and that'll get them into the top Billboard and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so we're gonna leave with one of the songs. And remember, even though all this darkness is going on, God is still in control, and He'll see us through the thickest of storms.
That's absolutely right. We got a packed show next week, so stay tuned for that as well. God bless, buddy.
All right. God bless you guys.
I was chilling on the bed at the Chubby's eating sopa when I seen a Spanish chick, and I think her name was Rosa. She's jacking on my style. Yeah, she say she love my troca. Wanna take me to her house around the way on Mariposa. She let me smash in me chocolate. We was spin up the couch. Beat the pussy till it's purple. Oh yeah, like a G and then I'm out. She let me smash in me chocolate. We was up the couch. Beat the pussy like a G and then I'm out. She let me smash in me chocolate. Steady for the couch. Had her screaming around the house.